Ever feel like you're being pulled in two totally different directions? Like, you want freedom, but you also crave structure.
Or maybe you're dreaming big, wanting to conquer the world, but you can't help but meticulously plan every single step.
If that sounds familiar, then tonight's deep dive is speaking directly to you. Welcome to ASTRALX.
Where we help you illuminate your cosmic path.
I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist.
And I'm Lunaria Celine, your intuitive guide. We're here to help you decipher the whispers of the cosmos.
Tonight we're focusing on a truly captivating astrological blend. The Virgo rising man with a fiery Aries sun.
You heard that right, gentlemen.
This one's for you. Trust me, this combination is anything but ordinary.
It's like this cosmic dance between meticulously planning and spontaneous action.
Imagine the grounded practicality of Virgo.
Intertwined with the bold, adventurous spirit of Aries.
How does that play out in your life? How does it feel?
It's a fascinating interplay of what can seem like opposing forces. It's a delicate balancing act.
Okay, so on one hand we have the Aries sun,
Which ignites your passions, fuels your ambition, and urges you to, well, leap before you look.
and on the other hand we have
The Virgo rising,
always seeking order
analyzing every single angle.
and wanting to make sure.
Absolutely everything is perfectly aligned.
So is it about one energy overpowering the other?
Not at all.
Or is it more about recognizing the power of this blend?
It's definitely the second one, this internal tension that you feel. It isn't a weakness, it's a catalyst for growth.
Imagine harnessing that raw power of Aries.
Tempered by Virgo's discerning eye.
That's where the magic happens, right?
Precisely. This combination can lead to incredible achievements. Achievements driven by passion, but executed with precision.
I'm already starting to see how this dynamic could impact, well, everything.
It really does touch every aspect of life.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break down these energies a little bit further. Our sources highlight this dependable yet perfectionist duality that so many Virgo rising Aries sun men feel. How does that usually manifest?
Well, it often translates to a deep desire to be of service, to help others, but it can come with a strong dose of self-criticism woven in, which can be tough.
It's like you're constantly striving for excellence in all you do.
Which is admirable, of course.
But sometimes those perfectionist tendencies
Yeah, they can really take
they
over.
can hold you back.
Definitely. Remember, progress over perfection. Always.
Ah, yes, the perfectionism trap. I think a lot of us, regardless of our astrological signs, can relate to that struggle.
Absolutely.
It's wanting everything to be just so before taking action.
Exact.
But the thing is, that hesitation can sometimes keep us from truly shining.
Couldn't agree more. And that's something that you, as a Virgo rising Aries sun man, should be really mindful of, especially this year.
Especially in 2025.
Yes, because this year is all about you stepping into your power, embracing your full potential. Don't let those self-imposed limitations dim your light. Let it shine.
Speaking of 2025, our sources are buzzing with astrological events.
Well, they are. Lots going on.
And these events are especially significant for you gentlemen listening.
Eclipses, retrogrades, planetary shifts.
It seems like the cosmos is setting the stage for some serious transformation.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot brewing in the celestial realms this year.
Definitely.
Huh.
But before we dive into all those specific events, let's explore a theme that runs throughout all our sources. This idea of embracing your masculine energy.
Okay, yes, let's talk about that.
Now, when we say masculine energy in this context,
Right.
it's not about those outdated stereotypes.
No, not at all.
So what are we really talking about?
We're talking about stepping into your assertiveness,
Your courage.
your unwavering determination,
Think of it as harnessing that inner warrior within.
but guided by a clear sense of purpose and direction.
And this isn't about aggression.
No.
It's about channeling that inner strength.
Yes. To pursue your goals, protect your boundaries, and stand up for what you believe in.
So it's about accessing that inner fire,
That Aries drive.
but tempered by the grounded strategic approach of Virgo.
Exactly. It's a powerful blend, and it's capable of creating incredible momentum in your life.
Now, how might that manifest for our listeners?
Well, it might show up as taking on new leadership roles,
Or embracing physical challenges?
or even just expressing your emotions with authenticity and vulnerability.
Okay, so now let's bring it back to the specific astrological events that are shaping the energy of 2025. I'm really interested in these eclipses. Our sources mention eclipses in both Aries and Virgo, which seems especially potent for you guys, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're very significant.
So tell us more about them.
Well, the first one to watch out for is the Virgo lunar eclipse on March 14th. This eclipse is all about introspection. It's going to be shining a light on those areas where you might be holding yourself back.
Interesting.
It's a time to release self-defeating patterns, practice self-compassion, and make space for new beginnings.
So a lot of inner work.
Yes, exactly. It sounds like a powerful opportunity to get really honest with yourself, to identify those areas where maybe you're letting perfectionism or self-doubt get in the way of your true potential.
So what are some good practices during this time?
Journaling is great.
Oh.
Meditation can also be really helpful. Spending time in nature can be really restorative, too. It's all about listening to that inner voice and nurturing your soul.
Okay, so we have this introspective lunar eclipse in Virgo.
Yes.
And then just a couple of weeks later, on March 29th, there's a solar eclipse in Aries.
That's right.
What kind of energy can we expect from that one?
Get ready for a surge of confidence and vitality, gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
The Aries solar eclipse, coupled with the sun's entry into Aries on March 20th.
Okay.
It's like a cosmic shot of adrenaline. It's time to step out of your comfort zone, take risks, and boldly pursue your passions.
So March is shaping up to be a pretty intense month for our listeners.
It is.
It's like this 1-2 punch.
It is a cosmic one.
First, you have the deep dive into the depths of your being.
Inner work.
And then,
a surge of energy propelling you forward.
wow, that's powerful.
It is. But remember, it's not all about external action. Finding balance is really key here.
I love that reminder about balance.
It's so important.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of those new beginnings.
I know.
And to forget to nurture our inner world at the same time.
Absolutely. And that's where another really key astrological event comes into play.
Okay, which one?
Saturn.
Saturn, the planet of discipline and responsibility.
That's right. And this year, it's shifting from your 6th house to your 7th house.
Okay, break that down for us. What does that shift signify? And how might it impact our listeners?
So the 6th house is associated with work, health, and daily routines, while the 7th house governs partnerships of all kinds.
Both romantic and business.
Both, yes. And this Saturnian transit is suggesting a shift in focus. 2025 is a year for you to cultivate those meaningful connections, strengthen existing bonds, and set healthy boundaries in your relationships.
Okay, so it's not just about romantic relationships.
No, it's about all the ways we connect with others.
Including business partnerships.
Yes.
Friendships.
Yes.
Family dynamics.
All of that. It's a time to examine those commitments, assess whether they're truly aligned with your values, and make any necessary adjustments.
And we all know Saturn's lessons.
Right.
They can be delivered through challenges.
They can be tough.
But ultimately,
they lead to greater wisdom and a stronger sense of self.
This makes so much sense, especially when we consider this inherent duality of the Virgo rising Aries sun combination.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
On the one hand, you have this independent, action-oriented Aries energy. But then there's that Virgo rising craving connection and wanting to be of service to others.
It's a beautiful paradox, isn't it?
It is.
The key is finding that sweet spot where you can honor both your need for independence and your desire for meaningful connection.
Now, let's not forget about those infamous retrogrades.
Oh, right, the retrogrades.
Mercury and Venus are both retrograding in Aries this year.
Yes, they are.
It's adding another layer of complexity to the cosmic landscape.
It always does.
So hold on tight, gentlemen. We'll unpack those retrogrades and their potential impact on your relationships and communication.
Especially for all you Virgo rising Aries sun men out there.
As promised, let's talk about how those retrogrades we mentioned might show up in your life.
Okay, yes, let's get into that.
Particularly when it comes to relationships and communication.
2 very important areas of life.
So Mercury retrograde, infamous for those communication mishaps.
Oh, yes.
Travel delays, technology going completely haywire.
Right, it can be a mess. But how will it affect our listeners this time around?
That's what I want to know. With Mercury retrograding in Aries, the sign of action and impulsivity.
Yes.
You might find yourselves, gentlemen, rushing into decisions or speaking without thinking things through.
It's definitely something to be mindful of.
What about for those listeners out there who are single and looking for love?
Oh, good question.
Any advice for navigating the dating scene during this retrograde?
It's probably a good idea to focus on self-reflection rather than jumping into those new romantic endeavors.
So maybe not the best time to swipe right with abandon.
Probably not. Use this time to really clarify your relationship values and what you truly desire in a partner.
I like that. So we've got Mercury retrograde. But what about Venus retrograde in Aries?
Oh, That one can be tricky.
It sounds like it could throw a real wrench into matters of the heart.
It can. It can definitely bring up past relationships and unresolved issues.
Oh, no. So what's the best way to handle it?
See it as an opportunity, a chance to reassess your current relationships, look at what you really need, and communicate those needs honestly with your partner.
It's like the universe is pressing the pause button, asking us to reflect and refine
Yes.
before we move forward in love.
I like that. It's a really good analogy.
Now, this retrograde might also affect your finances. Be mindful of those impulse purchases and risky investments during this time.
Right, this is a time for review, not bold financial moves.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit. Our source material mentions something really interesting about spatial awareness being particularly heightened for Virgo rising individuals.
Oh, yes. It's fascinating how that works. Remember we were talking earlier about how Virgo risings tend to have this heightened sense of their surroundings?
Yes, I do.
Well, with that Aries sun in the mix, this heightened awareness can play out in some really unique ways, especially in your home environment.
Okay, tell me more. I'm intrigued.
So think about it. Aries is all about action, movement, asserting yourself out there in the world. But that Virgo rising also craves order and peace in their personal environment.
So you're saying it's even more important for these guys to find that balance between dynamic energy and a peaceful sanctuary at home.
Exactly. Creating a space that supports both those Aries and Virgo sides is crucial.
How do they do that?
You could have designated areas for different activities, a place for creative expression, a calming corner for relaxation, systems for maintaining order, that kind of thing.
So it's like designing your home to reflect and support that unique inner cosmic blueprint.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
And don't forget to incorporate elements that inspire you.
Yes. Colors that energize you, objects that hold personal meaning.
Your home should be a reflection of your unique astrological blend.
It really should.
Now, speaking of aligning your external world with your internal compass, let's talk about career. I'm curious how that combination of Aries drive and Virgo meticulousness plays out professionally for our listeners.
It's a powerful combo for success. The Aries sun fuels that ambition, the willingness to take risks, and the Virgo rising gives you those organizational skills and that attention to detail to really bring your vision to life.
It's like the Aries sets the goals,
Yeah.
and the Virgo makes the detailed plan to get there.
Exactly. This combination might lead you toward leadership roles,
Okay.
maybe entrepreneurial ventures, or fields that need both strategic thinking and bold action.
Makes sense. And our source material also mentions that 2025 is a year where collaboration and networking will be especially important for our listeners.
It is, especially with Saturn transiting your 7th house of partnerships.
So success might come through joining forces with others.
It might. Leverage each other's strengths. Work towards shared goals.
And with your Virgoan reliability
Yes.
and attention to detail.
You're going to be a sought-after partner.
But what about that Aries initiative?
Right.
I bet it plays a big role in forging those connections and putting yourself out there.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to step into the spotlight, share your ideas, and connect with people who really inspire you. This is the year to build a network that is aligned with your aspirations.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked a bit about Saturn's influence on partnerships in general. But what about romantic connections specifically?
Good question. As we said, Saturn in the 7th house highlights those themes of commitment, responsibility, building lasting foundations.
So is 2025 the year for our Virgo rising Aries sunmen to finally settle down?
It could be. It really depends on the individual. But it's a year where those relationships are going to be tested and refined, making way for more authentic and fulfilling connections.
So what about for those listeners who are already in committed relationships? How might this Saturnian energy play out for them?
It's a time to deepen that bond, communicate more openly, and really address any lingering issues that might be hindering your growth as a couple.
It's almost like a cosmic invitation to level up your relationship.
I love that. Yes, to move beyond the superficial and create something truly meaningful.
And let's be real, Saturn's lessons can be challenging.
Oh, they can be tough.
But they're always there to help us evolve and create something stronger and more resilient.
So true.
What can we learn about the dynamics between Aries and Libra in relationships?
It's such an interesting interplay. Libra, the sign of balance, harmony, diplomacy. It naturally complements Virgo's grounded, practical nature.
But that fiery, independent nature of Aries
Right.
could create some tension.
Definitely. It's that classic case of opposites attract, that push and pull between autonomy and the desire for connection.
And with Venus retrograding in Aries, that need for open communication becomes even more important.
Absolutely. This is a time to really express your needs clearly and listen to your partner's perspective too.
It's all about working together to create a relationship that honors both your individuality and your shared journey as a couple.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This is all so insightful.
It is fascinating.
But I know some of our listeners out there might be craving some more personalized guidance.
They might be. And if they are, we're thrilled to offer our ASTRALX listeners those exclusive recorded audio readings delivered straight to your inbox.
These readings offer a deep dive into your unique astrological blueprint, offering tailored insights and guidance for navigating this year ahead.
All those twists and turns. You can find the purchase links in the description below.
Okay, so as we move toward the final part of our deep dive, let's zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture for our Virgo rising Aries sun men. What key themes should they be taking away from our conversation today?
Well, first and foremost, embrace that dynamic tension within you. That interplay between Aries and Virgo, it's not a conflict.
It's not.
It's a source of immense power.
It's about finding that sweet spot where action meets strategy.
Right.
Those bold leaps forward, grounded in careful planning and a discerning eye.
You got it.
And remember, 2025 is a year for cultivating balance in all areas of your life.
Right.
Nurturing those relationships, both personal and professional, with honesty, integrity, and a willingness to learn and grow together.
So important. And let's not forget self-care.
Oh yes, self-care.
Pay attention to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
All of it.
You are not defined by your astrological blueprint. You have the power to choose how you respond to these cosmic influences.
It's so powerful. Now, as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore a few more insights and leave you with a powerful affirmation to carry with you on your journey. As we wrap up our deep dive into the world of the Virgo rising Aries sun man, I want to touch upon something subtle but really interesting from our sources. It's something we haven't had a chance to discuss yet.
Oh, I'm curious. What aspect are we going to explore now?
Well, it's the 8th house and its prominence for you gentlemen in 2025. This house is typically associated with transformation, shared resources, and even, those shadow sides of ourselves that we maybe don't always like to look at.
Interesting. So how do you see this 8th house emphasis playing out for our listeners this year, especially considering everything else we talked about today?
Well, I think it ties in really well with Saturn's transit through the 7th house. Remember, we talked about those stronger foundations in relationships.
Yeah.
And the 8th house is encouraging us to go even deeper, to confront those vulnerabilities and fears that we might be holding on to, especially when it comes to intimate connections and shared finances.
So it's like saying that to have real intimacy, you have to be willing to not just share your light, but also those parts of yourself that you might see as, well, less than perfect.
Exactly. And it's not about dwelling on the negative or anything like that. It's more about acknowledging those shadows, understanding where they come from, and integrating them into a more whole and authentic version of ourselves.
I love that. Embracing all of our complexity as human beings. And when we can do that in our relationships, wow, that can create such a powerful bond.
Absolutely. A bond built on trust and vulnerability. Now, before we say goodbye, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, that concept of masculine energy.
Okay, yes. That's definitely been a theme throughout our conversation today.
What are your final thoughts on how our Virgo rising Aries sun men can embrace that inner warrior?
It's about owning your power, gentlemen. Stepping into those leadership roles, not just out there in the world, but within yourselves as well.
It's about balancing that assertiveness with compassion.
Yes. Remembering that true strength is not about domination, it's about lifting others up.
And using your unique gifts, that special blend of passion and precision, to create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. So as we conclude our deep dive, we'll leave you with one final question to ponder.
Remember, the stars are simply guides. You have the power to choose your own path, write your own story.
What bold step will you take to illuminate your path?
What will you do to embrace the multifaceted power that lies within you?
Embrace your cosmic journey, gentlemen, and let the wisdom of the stars guide you to your highest potential.
And for those of you who are seeking a more personalized roadmap through the cosmos, we invite you to explore our ASTRALX recorded audio readings. These readings can offer a deep dive into your unique astrological makeup,
offering tailored insights and guidance for the year ahead.
You can find the purchase links in the description below.
Until next time, may your path be illuminated by the brilliance of your own inner light.